highly inappropriate to even make any comment at all now that this matter is before the court.
Craig James, formerly the highest-ranking bureaucrat in the BC legislature, responds to the news he is being criminally charged. James accused of misusing taxpayer money and breaching the public's trust.
Good evening. More than 2 years after explosive allegations of gross misspending of taxpayer dollars at the BC legislature, Craig James, the former clerk, is now facing multiple criminal charges.
CTV's John Woodward reports on the escalation of a spending scandal that is now on its way to court.
Baseball games instead of conferences, lavish trips on the taxpayer's dime. Expenses like this $3,000 wood splitter and trailer passed off as a purchase for the legislature, but kept at the house of former clerk Craig James.
It's very serious.
A spending scandal that transfixed BC's capital for 2 years since it was unearthed by former Speaker Darryl Plecas and his right-hand man, Alan Mullen. And now James stands criminally charged with 4 counts of breach of trust and 2 counts of fraud. The wood splitter is mentioned by name, as is the largest expense, $260,000 for a long service award allegedly obtained improperly. Reached at his home, James seemed optimistic that the trial would go his way.
I appreciate your interest. When we return to the legislature, I'd like you to say hi to all my colleagues in the press gallery.
No word on charges for former Sergeant-at-Arms Gary Lenz, whose expenses were also examined. Plecas faced great resistance when taking on the top legislature bureaucrat and the secretive culture in the capital.
This is vindication for the outgoing Speaker of the legislature, Darryl Plecas.
The former Green Party leader Andrew Weaver tweeted that many owe Plecas and Mullen an apology. Reforms since Plecas's report was written have brought more transparency on expenses.
There is a continued updating of procedures to ensure accountability, and that work will continue.
But the legislature relies on centuries of tradition and is hard to change. Plecas was an independent speaker because of a minority government. Now the speaker is a member of the governing party.
I very much hope that the commitment to that work remains as it existed before this last election.
And John is here live with more on this tonight. So, John, hundreds of thousands of dollars involved here. Will taxpayers ever see any of that money back?
Scott, Craig James came to a settlement with the BC legislature and the House leaders that was secret, but they did say it was non-financial, which is a clue that no money changed hands back to taxpayers after this alleged fraud. If there are any payments ordered after these criminal charges, that's going to be up to the court. Scott?
All right, thank you, John.